deep beneath the freezing surface of the Earth's oldest lake. Seven highly trained Soviet combat divers descended into the abyss. They were heavily armed and prepared for anything. Or so they thought. What they encountered at a depth of 50 meters was something that defied all human logic. Within minutes, a routine military exercise turned into a desperate struggle for survival. 3 men would die in unimaginable agony. The others would be left permanently crippled. The Soviet government buried the truth, but today, we are pulling it back to the surface. What exactly is hiding at the bottom of Lake Baikal? To comprehend the terror of that day, you must first understand the environment. Lake Baikal, located in the remote, freezing wilderness of Siberia, is not a normal body of water. It is the oldest lake in the world, forming over 25 million years ago. It is also the deepest, plunging down to a terrifying 1,642 meters. That is deeper than the Grand Canyon. It holds 20% of all unfrozen fresh water on Earth. But more importantly, it is completely isolated. The extreme pressure and freezing temperatures have created an alien ecosystem. Over 80% of the species living here exist nowhere else in the universe. For centuries, the indigenous Buryat people have treated the lake with profound fear and respect. They call it the sacred sea. Their legends speak of ancient, water-dwelling deities, giant entities that guard the deepest trenches. They warn that those who disrespect the waters will never return. For decades, the outside world dismissed these stories as mere folklore, until the summer of 1982. It was the height of the Cold War. The Soviet military was constantly testing new limits. In 1982, a specialized unit of military combat divers, known as frogmen, were conducting classified training in the lake. Their mission was deep water surveillance. 7 men were selected. They wore standard Soviet diving gear, heavily weighted, relying on compressed air. The water temperature was barely above freezing. They reached the 50-meter mark, approximately 160 feet. Everything was proceeding according to protocol. But then, the commanding officer noticed something strange on the edge of his vision. A shifting in the shadows. He signaled the team to halt. They hovered in the black water, waiting. Out of the freezing gloom, shapes began to emerge. At first, the divers thought they were suffering from nitrogen narcosis, hallucinations caused by the deep water pressure. But the shapes were real. Several humanoid figures swam into view, but they were wrong, horribly wrong. These entities were nearly 3 meters tall, almost 10 feet. They were wearing tight-fitting, silver metallic suits that seemed to repel the water. And most terrifying of all, they had no scuba tanks, no breathing apparatus, only spherical transparent helmets concealing their pale features. They were moving with incredible speed and agility, watching the divers with a cold, calculating intelligence. The Soviet commander, acting on strict military protocol, gave a fatal order. He commanded his men to capture one of the entities. The divers formed a tight circle. One man unclipped a large weighted net. He swam forward, ready to throw. But before the net could even leave his hands, the entities reacted. There was no physical contact. Instead, a massive, invisible force struck the divers, like an underwater sonic boom. The sheer kinetic power of the blast was devastating. All 7 heavily weighted men were shot upwards, instantly propelled from a depth of 50 meters, directly to the surface at terrifying speed. In deep diving, ascending too quickly is a death sentence. The sudden drop in pressure causes nitrogen dissolved in the blood to instantly turn into bubbles. It is a condition known as severe decompression sickness, or the bends. Their blood was literally boiling. They were bleeding from their ears, nose, and eyes. The military base only had one functioning decompression chamber designed to hold 2 men. In a desperate panic, they tried to force 4 men inside. It failed. 3 divers died in excruciating pain. The survivors were paralyzed for the rest of their lives. The aftermath was immediate. The KGB swooped in. The entire incident was classified under the highest level of secrecy. The surviving divers were forced to sign strict non-disclosure agreements, threatened with treason if they ever spoke a word. For decades, the story existed only as a whisper. When the Soviet Union collapsed, fragments of the report leaked out. But the central question remains: what were those things? Some believe Lake Baikal hides a deep-water alien base, a species completely adapted to the extreme aquatic environment of Earth. Others point to the Ithiander project, suggesting the entities were actually extreme Soviet biological experiments, genetically modified humans designed for deep-water warfare that somehow escaped control. The truth lies buried under 1,600 meters of freezing black water. The indigenous tribes were right. Some waters are not meant to be disturbed. What do you think they found down there? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, hit that subscribe button.